Hi everybody, just a quickie. I don't know if anybody else is struggling at the moment to get Calor bottles, but there seems to be a big shortage of getting Calor bottles at the moment. In fact, Calor aren't taking any new customers at all. It's only people with bottles that can exchange empties for full if you're lucky. I've just been into Morrison's and I can't get a Calor bottle. I do have one spare one in the van, so I'm not too upset about it at the moment, but if that one runs out, I've got no cooking facilities, I have no heating facilities. So basically I'd be buggered, other than going to a new supplier, which of course means increased cost for buying the first bottle. And I don't know what we're going to do. So at this moment in time, it's everything's causing trouble, no matter what. I don't know if you read a bit of a report I put on about Devon and Cornwall Council taking away all the skips from the towns and villages because they were being abused by businesses and people, to quote what they said, people and businesses. So all the recycle centres in the area have all the recycle areas where they put the skips in some of the car, well, in all the car parks really, one in every small village or town, I think it is. They've all gone, and that was from the 17th of this month. So like I did say on the blog, there's going to be a big increase in fly tipping and everything else. I've now got to rethink how I buy my food and what food I do buy, because obviously being in the van, most of my food is preserved in tins. I do eat quite a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables, so I'm not too bad, but other things like meats, which I might want to keep for a couple of days, have got to be processed food, even more so now because I can't have the fridge on, because it runs on the gas. I can't have the fridge on willy-nilly, because the gas usage on the fridge is quite excessive. I did do a test a couple of years ago when I first got the van. We had the fridge on 24/7, and I think the gas bottle lasted me about a fortnight. So that's quite a lot for something in my mind isn't really necessary. I mean, I don't carry beers, I don't keep cold beers, I don't need, if I was to use it, I would need it for keeping meats fresh, but I can go to the shop on a daily basis if I'm in an area. There's always a shop somewhere, and get some sort of fresh meat if I need to. It can be a bit of a hindrance at times getting to some sort of places, just to do that. So I tend to carry preserved food, which is mostly in tins or dried food. It's becoming harder and harder to do anything. I do dispose of my tins, or I did dispose of my tins in the recycle centre, but now that's stopped. I've got to find another way, and I think the easiest way to do it is not rely on tin foods. I don't mind eating fresh food and veg all the time forever, but having a few tins, even bottles, I won't go and throw it in the public bins. If I can help it, I just won't do it. I have one or two friends who will take rubbish for me and put it into their system, but I don't really like doing that. I like to be totally independent. That was the idea of coming out and having this sort of lifestyle. so I wasn't reliant on anybody else. But it seems I'm going to have to be, you know. There's no way around it. I'm certainly not going to add to the shit that's already stuck in the lay-bys. I've never done that purposely. I might have done one or two things by accident. We're all guilty of something, but I've never purposely thrown any litter, or tins, or any wastage other than vegetable waste, which can legally be put into the hedgerows because it rots down. It's vegetation, it rots down, isn't it? So there's no issue there. If I can help it, I don't even throw waste water out. I'll store it until I get onto a campsite, which I do use. I don't use very often, as most of you know. But you can go on a lot of campsites and pay a small fee to drain your grey waters and black waters, which obviously, being in a van, is necessary. I do have to empty the toilet cassette, so that's the time I go to a campsite, and I either stay a weekend or I ask if I can pay to use the facilities. Unfortunately, you know, it doesn't cost a fortune just to empty your grey water or your toilet water, so there's no excuse really for anything like that. And also I can use the skips that we have on there, because part of your fee goes to rubbish removal. You know, the council go there to remove rubbish, so part of your nightly fee is included. There's a charge included in there for putting rubbish into the system, which is fair enough, and there's a charge for using the grey tank and the black, emptying the black waste, which is understandable. They've got to pay for it, so we've got to pay for it. When the coronavirus lockdown was on, nobody could do anything because no campsites were open. You know, so it was a problem for the majority of people. It was a problem for everybody. So there was an increase on waste being put in the lay-bys. We did read one or two stories about, well, one pilot was caught dumping it in the bloody sea or something. How stupid and pathetic is that? You know, we're putting a nail in the coffin each time we do something wrong. The motorhome and campervan community are putting nails in a coffin by doing things like this. And it isn't all the occasional people. I've seen people come off a caravan and camping club site, which I frequent the lay-by there, and I've seen them pull out of the drive off the campsite, stop at the other side of the lay-by and open the taps to get rid of the grey water. Now, why the hell didn't they do that in the campsite? They moved not even 20 yards away from the gate and emptied the grey water tank in the lay-by. You know, that is taking the piss. So it's unfair, everybody blaming people like myself. I mean, you know, we blame the pikeys and we blame the gypsies and everything, but to be honest with you, there's a small percentage of the so-called motorhomers who abide by the rules and regulations that are doing exactly the same thing. If you read that piece on the blog, the amounts of things I found in lay-bys, you know, one thing in particular was the big skylight off a van that had obviously been left open in the wind, was dumped in the lay-by. Now I removed that because I salvaged a lot of parts off that, and I took the rest down to the tip, to the local tip. But there's all sorts of things, and there is stuff coming from so-called motorhomers who, like going out, coming to beautiful places, and they're making a bleeding mess of it. You know, it's just not right. The way things are going, we're not going to be able to go anywhere, and that's the people like me absolutely buggered then. You know, I do what I can to conform to the society and not make a mess. I don't scrounge off the places where I live. I spend a lot of money in the areas where I go. Petrol, food, shopping, goods. I spend as much as a small household in a year in the particular area I'm in at the moment. I do my bit as best I can. Well, I do my bit. It's as easy as that. But my situation is obviously slightly different to people who are living in bricks and mortar. I have to find places where, I can legally dispose of my waste. The only legal place really now I can dispose of any sort of waste is by going onto a campsite. But I don't want to be forced to go and live on a campsite. I don't mind going on a campsite and paying the fee to have the rubbish removed legally, and everybody else should do the same. I have, as I've told you before, I have my cameras on most of the time when I'm in lay-bys, and I have registration numbers and small snippets of videos of people dumping stuff, be it small pieces, chucking out Costa coffee cups, leaving 2 big plastic bags full of waste out of a self-build black motorhome whose registration I had got, and they had the audacity to do that in front of me. Unfortunately, I did have my camera on, and they just left 2 great big plastic bags there. Oh, it's alright, somebody else will move that. I've seen people chucking adult nappies out of windows in lay-bys and buggering off. I've seen all sorts of going-ons, and it isn't all motorhomers. It is some motorhomers. A lot of motorhomers think nothing of dropping the grey water tank, which looks unsightly. Okay, we do sometimes have accidents. You know, if I use a washing up bowl and I can't get it into the grey water tap, I will throw it into the hedgerow, but that's usually just water, washing up water. It's only water and a bit of soap at the end of the day. But I don't throw it on the road and stain the road and make it look bloody awful for everybody else. But unfortunately, there is a lot of self-build camper vans that have a total disregard. They're out on holiday, they don't give a shit about anybody else. And it is happening. But saying that as well, there is a lot of people in cars who are in cars, they're coming on holidays and they're coming down for weekends, so they're roughing it in the cars, and they're probably the bigger culprits for leaving all the crap in the lay-bys. You know, it's just not on. Something's going to happen soon, and it is going to affect everybody. It really is. And the only people we can blame is ourselves. Everybody in a motorhome, everybody in a camper van, everybody who comes out camping and chucks rubbish and leaves waste all over the place, you're making life very difficult for yourselves. If you want to continue coming out and enjoying yourselves in your motorhomes, in your camper vans, doing the camping, bit of wild camping in the tents where you are allowed, you're making it very, very difficult. And when the final nail goes in the coffin, everybody's going to be up in arms. We've had our freedom taken away. You people haven't had your freedom taken away because you've got your cosy little houses to go back to and not worry about chucking your shit all over the place. I haven't. My home is what I'm in 24 hours a day. my home goes with me where I go. I respect as much as possible the places I go to and try to do everything to not cause distress to myself and to other people. But I'm fighting the losing battle, and I'm fighting the losing battle because of lazy bastards that are out here thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, we're only here for a couple of days. It doesn't matter. It does matter, you know, it does matter. Grow up and think of other people. You know, it's not all me. You know, we're all too quick to throw our hands in the, oh, the pikeys are here, they're doing this and they're doing that. But we're all the same. Biggest majority of us are all the same. We're all trying to get away with doing something. Oh, throw this little bit of waste there, nobody will see it in the next room. It's just not on. It's just not on. The councils are doing their best to provide places for us to go to, and it's just being abused. You know, let's all help each other. Let's all do something. That's my moan for the week. Thank you. Have a nice day, everybody.